Hey guys, today it's Wednesday and actually we don't have a lot of appointments today, but only one, and that's a very important one. Today Angela is going to visit our studio and she's going to give me drawing lessons. Now, I started drawing when I was a little kid, like all of you guys. I love to draw cars and cartoons and whatever, so I really love that creativity. Now, when I got older, I didn't have time for drawings anymore, so I did a lot of guitar playing and, well, when you grow up, you have to start a business, right? Or work for a boss, of course. But in my case, we started a business. And always in my mind, I had that creative flow, right? And with photography, of course, you can do a lot with that creativity. But I always loved to draw. And ever since, I try to also draw digitally. Now, with the Wacom tablets, some people can create art, right? But you can even create art with your finger on an iPhone. But I never could that. It's always that eye and hand coordination that didn't work. And in December, I actually got my iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, and I got totally hooked on drawing again. I absolutely loved it. But of course, you have to learn. And with the iPad Pro, it was great. I loved Procreate, and yeah, I wanted a little bit more. So I started using on the computer Manga Studio and of course Photoshop. And those two combined are perfect. You can do your line art and your sketching, for example, in Manga Studio, and then create everything else in Photoshop. Or you can do everything in, of course, Photoshop or Manga Studio. But I like the combination. Now that I have the Cintiq, I told myself, Frank, now you have to start learning to draw very, very well. Well, very well. We'll see where it leads. So today Angela is going to show me some stuff about, I think, basic figures and how to go from your mind to the paper. Well, in this case, of course, the glass of the Cintiq. And we'll see where it leads. And in preparation for Angela to come, I yesterday drew an earthworm Jim, as you can see in the previous Behind the Closed Doors. And I'm now actually drawing something a little bit more in the Batman realm. This is, of course, Harley Quinn. So well, I don't know, the sketch looks okay, but the problem I have is always with the line art. So I hope that Angela can help me out with it. And of course we're going to film today's lesson, at least a little bit, for you guys to enjoy. So that's about everything that's behind the closed doors today. It's about drawing. So Angela arrived and she's now sketching an owl. So that's going to be interesting to see her technique and what I can learn from that. So she's now painting it in, right, Angela?
Yes.
So you're using water paint?
Yeah, watercolor.
Looks great. And also she first does the sketching, and my problem is probably I make my lines too straight, right? So yep. I have to sketch more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that in a moment. Okay, so I sketched my first Mr. Frankenstein. Now what I normally do is I would now go into inkting, and we're going to try to first do the coloring and then later on the inkting. And I think indeed that Angela is right, that probably will be better. Because I like it now, but as soon as I do the line art, it gets a little bit boring in the picture. So let's see if we like the other workflow better. Okay, so I've done this in about 20-30 minutes. Yeah. And somehow I'm not happy with the end result for the line work. So I love the way it's here, but it's a little bit too sketchy in the form of it's not straight enough, or how do you call that? It's too sketchy. So Angela is now going to try to do some line art, and she's going to do it differently from me. I'm more like what she called a logo designer. I like to do very straight lines, and she's now going to do something in the middle. So I'm very curious to see how that works out. Angela, hard at work?
Yes.
Do you like the Cintiq, Angela?
Yeah.
Awesome, right?
That's awesome.
Okay, Angela is now starting the background instead of the foreground, and she's gonna paint from the background up, so to say. So, Angela, what is the idea behind this technique?
Okay, first you make the background colors, and then you make an animal, and you make from the colors and then the lines.
Okay, so first you do the colors and then the lines, so the total opposite direction as what we did before.
Yeah.
Awesome, so let's see how that works out. Angela, it looks awesome.
Thanks.
And she just did this in 5 minutes. Amazing. So Angela is almost ready, I think, with this one, and she just created this by starting on the background and working her way up. Now this is actually pretty cool, I think, Angela, when you don't have an idea yet of where you want to start or what you want to draw. You just start by drawing some backgrounds and just build it up from there.
Yeah.
Really cool. And because you're working in layers, this is one of the cool things.
Yeah.
You can actually draw the background now. I'm gonna try this one too. Really nice. A different one, of course, but awesome idea. Okay, so I just brought Angela back to the bus station and it was a very, very cool day. Now I learned a lot about how she approaches the drawings, and I also learned a lot about my own style. Now I'm way too perfectionistic, meaning I will set my drawing lines like they have to be like almost in an Illustrator. And what I learned today is that I actually have to draw a little bit more freehand, so a little bit more sketchy. And that's something that was really an eye-opener, because somehow as soon as I did the sketch I loved the image, then I started to color, I loved the image, and then I did the final drawings and it was like, I don't know, it just doesn't live anymore. It was totally flat. And it has to do something with the thickness of the lines, he told me, and well, a lot of stuff that somehow it has to grow with me, because everybody has their own style of drawing, of course, like photography. So, very educational day, and I hope you enjoyed the backstage look. Tomorrow there will be no vlog update. Hello in a week. Hi! Because I'm free tomorrow. But on Friday we have Batman in the studio, if the weather is okay, and we're gonna do a photo shoot with him. And on Saturday, outside, yes, and on Saturday we have a great workshop in a castle, Roosendaal, and we're also gonna take you there backstage, of course. So stay tuned to Behind the Closed Doors. And by the way, I know it's behind closed doors. I got a lot of emails about that. It's a word joke. It's behind the closed doors. And why do we choose that? Because we want to make a little bit of a word joke. Behind closed doors, of course I know that's the expression, but we added the to make it a little bit more interesting, and because you actually see behind the closed doors. So that's why we call this Behind the Closed Doors. Thank you so very much for watching, guys, and see you next time.